What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Shout out my man Red Glove Militant. Shout out Nocturnal Thoughts, Boxing After Dark with Nocturnal Thoughts. Shout out the whole AZB family. Quick video. Amir Khan versus Kell Brooke. I like them both as fighters. At one point, they're both past their primes now. I don't see this fight making any sense. People say that Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, they were past their prime. No, well, I'll tell you what, they were still effective, and they were still the two best fighters in the world at the time. Okay, plain and simple. They were still the two best pound for pound guys out there. When you are going to say that a guy, two guys, or whoever, they're over there past their prime, it wasn't so much that they was past their prime. The fight just played out the way they did stylistically, the way it matched up. That's really what that came down to. We knew Floyd was going to do what Floyd does. Pacquiao, everything was on his shoulders to do all the cutting off the ring, like he said. It's not like Floyd ran. People use that term, run. He ran. No, he didn't run. He used lateral movement. He stood there, and he just jabbed right hand all night. That's all he needed. He got, that's all he needed. Pacquiao couldn't stop it. So we're not even gonna get into all the shoulder nonsense and all that crap and this, whatever, which was healed by some sea salt water in a swim. Anyway, so this is worse because we had Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez and it looked like that fight was just like done, like it's doomed, it's not happening. But he came back, he dominated Brandon Rios. There was interest all over again. And then he wouldn't stop calling Floyd's name. Now, in this case, we've seen Amir Khan lose several times. Several times. A loss doesn't mean that you're not a good fighter. But we've seen him lose to the elite guys. We just saw Kell Brooke lose to Terrence Crawford. And he basically, you can see in his fight, he doesn't have it anymore, man. Listen, he has boxing knowledge, but he can't get out of the way of certain shots. Terrence Crawford doesn't have lightning hand speed. Terrence Crawford is not, he's not super quick. He's a great fighter that has good speed, Nothing, nothing blinding like, oh, I just couldn't. No. He was able to get to Kell Brooke. He was able to do what he did. I just think that, to be honest with you, at this point, now, if they're gonna fight, it would make more sense to fight someone that you're on the same level as them. But I don't think this fight doesn't mean what it would have when they were in their primes. That's when this fight should have actually happened. To get this fight now, just to say, well, we finally got Kell Brooke versus Amir Khan, it's because they're both at the end of their rope. It's not a good look. It's not a good feel. And at this point, what does it matter? Is it for bragging rights just to say, okay, I beat him? But both of you guys, this is somewhat similar to Roy Jones versus Bernard Hopkins too. And I say somewhat because Bernard was still able to win titles and fight the top guys at that point. Roy was just said that Roy wasn't going to beat an A level fighter ever again. Not even a B level fighter ever again at that point. Roy was I can be the C minus. I can be the D plus, I can be the C minus. I can't beat a B minus or a B plus anymore. Can't be the A plus or A minus. That's what Roy was. Both of these guys, neither one of these guys, they're not going to be the A level guy again or B level guy again. But no, win a major title, no. Bernard Hopkins was still able to do that. That's why I said somewhat in that comparison. But it didn't matter. The fight itself didn't matter. Nobody cared about Roy Jones versus Hopkins too. This fight, I just feel like I said, on one hand, if you're going to fight somebody that's in that same seat with you. There's no need to go in there living off what you did in the past and get your brains beat out because you're trying to prove that you still have something left. But as far as just the fight itself, it's not going to mean what it would have. And if this actually happens, I mean it's up to them what they do. But I think that either both men should just let it go, retire. Just neither one of these guys have it anymore. They just don't. They can't compete with the elite guys. And to jump in there just for the fan's sake or just for bragging rights to try to conjure up enough to beat the other guy that night, I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, Kell Brooke got hurt by a jab. By a jab. Made him completely turn around. And so, everybody was so worried that Errol Spence wasn't going to be able to take a face shot anymore. No, we seen the effects on Kell Brooke, though. Errol Spence is fine. But we saw the effects on Kell Brooke. And at this point, whether he beats Amir Khan or whether Amir Khan beats him, regardless, the whole point of this is it'll be a fight it's not what it should have been. Neither guy needs to go in there and just take punishment for no reason. I just don't see a purpose for this fight. Honestly, I really feel like Kell Brooks should retire. I think Amir Khan should too. But at the end of the day, if they're going to go through with this, it's the right fight in terms of fight somebody who's in there. If you're a C-class fighter, fight a C-class fighter. Don't put these guys in there just, out of your greed and selfishness, and then one of them really seriously get hurt, and then we're sitting there going, man, my condolences to Kell Brook or my condolences to Amir Khan, because we all know. I don't care how much you love a fighter, how much you like a fighter, how much you want to see them win. It doesn't go on forever, and it's a time when you got to say, all right, it's time to close the show. And I just feel like neither one of these guys have enough to go in there and do what needs to be done without really risking getting hurt. There's no reason for either guy to sit up in the locker room or sit up in the hospital bed or sit home, laying in their bed thinking about, damn, I should have did this or I shouldn't have did that. Or, living life with regret is something nobody wants. But what happens? I mean, what's the purpose of this fight if it did happen? I have no interest in the fight. I don't even want to see that fight. I don't like the whole idea of guys going in there, trying to stroke their ego. This is not a Rocky movie. Rocky can walk away. Good scene, good scene, good acting job. This is real, man. And I just don't see the purpose for the fight. So no, I'm not. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to cry about it. But it's just, as far as looking forward to it, nah. I wasn't even looking forward to Kell Brook versus Crawford. Y'all saw my videos. Y'all know how I felt about that. I said we don't know what Kell Brook still has left in the tank, but from what I saw of him, his 3 prior fights to fighting Terrence Crawford, that I just didn't see him beating Terrence Crawford. I saw him getting beat badly. That's what I saw happening, and it was like, well, we don't know. Can he get that back? And we saw no. Kell Brook is done. And if you can't compete with the top guys and you're just going to be in there taking a bunch of junk fights, taking punishment, damaging yourself further, then, I mean, what's the purpose? We human beings. We're not pieces of meat that you just throw in some gladiator arena and, you're expendable. If you die, there's more fighters. If something happens, there's more fighters. And, like I said, sending your condolences doesn't bring a person's health or life back. So, anyway, no, I'm not into this fight. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm just not into this Kell Brook versus Amir Khan. It should have happened a long time ago, and it didn't. So I feel like just leave well enough alone. Let that ship sail. Anyway, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and that's all I'm going to say on this video. Catch y'all on the next one.